So Halo Infinite now has a big update from 343 that they just dropped, and it is covering a lot of the things that folks might have been worried about and also somewhat hoped, but maybe not. Like, there's a lot of people are going to be talking about this update for the next couple days, I'm sure, and I'm going to do my best to give you very raw thoughts here because I'm about to go on like 10 days of travel. So I apologize, there's no like music or editing in this, but like Halo Infinite's a game that is very important to you and many others, including me. So I thought it'd be good to talk about this update. That, you know, they had the new live service director along with Joe Staten kind of sit down and talk about. And the nutshell that people are going to be talking about immediately is this, the new roadmap. I'm going to just cut to the chase because this is what everybody's, I'm sure, are just going to be talking about. Hopefully I'll have time to share thoughts about other things like specifics, but November 8th is no longer the launch date of Season 3. November 8th is now the launch of what I'll just say is Season 2.5. They call it the big winter update. They should have said the winter contingency, come on. But it is the launch of essentially Season 2.5. It is also the time that they are going to be pushing back the Forge beta and campaign co-op. They're also going to have 2 new maps that are made through Forge mode from 343 and the 30-tier Battle Pass. I'm going to try to sum this up to you before I kind of speak about it. But a really cool thing is that they're going to be adding match XP, where it's actually performance-based stuff that you get, which, thank God, freaking finally. It's very tiresome to me to always just have to do the challenges in order to get, you know, progress. But then again, I mostly just work for the weekly. Anyways, the weekly cosmetic. And Covert One Flag. Covert One Flag is a new game type that's like gonna be freaking just 4v4. One team is invisible the whole time and kind of like, you know, a carbine and pistols, and the other team is with threat sensors so they can detect the invisible people, and they have swords and commando, and they're playing One Flag. And that's a neat idea for a game type, but I think that game type, along with the Forge beta and these maps that they're going to put in the game, I think they're trying to like encourage people to get creative. Like, let's start to trickle into that creative era that's going to lead into, yes, the actual Season 3, titled Echoes Within. And this season is supposed to be a freaking under 4-month season. Finally. And I'm going to stop there because there's a lot more to talk about here, but that's kind of the big thing that a lot of people are going to be talking about with this update. At least like the loud and passionate Halo fans. The passionate Halo fans that are constantly making 343 need to have therapists because of how loud they are. And then there's the passionate Halo fans that are just being patient and will just kind of be silent, sort of a thing. And let me know what you are in the comments. And if I have any grievances with all this, the number one is that they talk about being transparent, and they talk about in the beginning of this that they want to stop making promises because they know, you know, if they break a promise, then that's going to really hurt things a lot more than just sharing what they hope for. They're wanting to get to this point where they are just sharing what they're doing, what they hope to do, and why they're doing it. And that's what this was kind of doing, which I can appreciate. And I'm sure a lot of folks are tired of talk is cheap, you know, where's the stuff kind of a thing. If I have any grievances, speaking of transparency and speaking of being honest and speaking of, you know, sharing what you want to do and hope to do, let us grieve with you as you acknowledge that the Forge beta and the campaign co-op you were really hoping to do in Season 2. Express that to us. Like, express that and, you know, grieve. Like, it's fine, in my opinion. I know it's not good PR to admit your wrongs, but to me, that just makes a much more human company, because these are a bunch of humans working on this game. However slow they may be, they do care about the game, and they just, for whatever reason, don't have the resources or the efficiency or whatever to make it go as fast as we want. The sign of that, though, the sign of that improving is Season 3, which the live director does say Season 3 is kind of when we want to kick off this game being a steady flow of content. This is the time we're going to kick off being that, regular updates, the regular, because they're tired of these 6-month seasons just as much as you. They really are. I'm sure they're especially tired of all the feedback that they get about it. But this is a good sign of that. It's a less than 4-month season. And I've always told people when Season 4 rolls around, that is when this game is going to be at its peak. I don't mean at its peak, but that is when the game's going to be in the state that a lot of people wishes it was in. And it looks like that's going to be the case. Because Season 3, they're not seeming to market Forge here, because it seems like the coming winter update is the big thing is the Forge and co-op or whatever. But Season 3, they just want, here's 2 new maps, here's a new weapon, here's a new piece of equipment, which are kind of cool, by the way. I don't have too much time to comment on everything, but the new, the Bandit's cool. It's not quite the DMR. It's a bit more functional at close range, and the Shroud screen is a new piece of equipment that, really curious how people are going to use that, because it's really just an obstruction visually. So I'm really curious how that will change the game. And Season 3 is going to have the custom game browser. Find a freaking Lee. It's going to have 2 new modes, VIP and Escalation, to which, honestly, whatever. But the custom game browser, that's something along with Forge mode that a lot of people are really waiting for. And when that comes in, Halo Infinite will really be a game that is a free-to-play game that anybody can hop into and just have fun with. Like whether you're good at shooters or not, enjoy the crazy-ass custom games that is Halo Infinite. And you will not believe, man. They talk about there's 1,700 Forge objects in this game. Or, sorry, there was 1,700 in Halo 5, but in Halo Infinite, there is a ton. There's over 7,000. Over 7,000. So much, basically 5 times the amount that 5 had. So, as I approach towards the end of this, because I want to try to keep this under 10 minutes for both your sake and my own, because again, I'm traveling. The 2 new maps are really cool. They have 2 new maps coming in Season 3. I don't know if I necessarily want to talk about the actual Season 3 too much, because that's still a ways off now. But they look cool. The thing about Infinite right now, it's not the game that you want it to be. It's not the game that I want it to be. And it's not the game that 343 want it to be. When the time comes for Season 3 to roll around, and the live service director said this, that's really them transitioning to where a lot of people want this game to start being the flow of. And I think that is the reason why they pushed back Season 3. I really believe, and this is kind of my final thoughts on this whole thing, the reason they're pushing back 343, and they somewhat said this in the update too, just in different words, they know the situation they're in. They know that this game is taking a long time to become the game that they want it to be and that you want it to be. And so they want Season 2 to potentially be that final season to really make the base set. They always talk about this in every update. We just want to get the foundation right. We just want to get the core set. And then once that is set, once everything is set, the desync is gone, there's Forge, there's campaign co-op, we have a proper progression and customization system. When all that stuff is in place and is good to go, then we could just add on top of that. And I think that they really want Season 2 to be that final season. And if that means that Season 2 is, I can't believe I'm saying this, 9 months, then they're willing to do it. And probably when Season 3 rolls around, that's when they're going to market the hell out of this game. Because, and the less than 4 months shows that. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. I will have an update for you next week about some big picture stuff. And don't forget to be geek, be proud, be awesome.